What's up, everyone? My name's PlatinumHowler, coach of your Delta Gligars. Today I'm bringing you week 7 of the NCL against Dom, aka Rudiger, and his Cleveland Escavaliers. We are 5-1. He is 5-1. He has a 2-point differential advantage on me. You can see his team over on the right side of the screen. So, Clash of the Titans, so to speak, right here. Dom is in second place in the league at 5-1 plus 15, and I am in third at 5-1 plus 13. So, my mindset going into this game, you know what? Let's not take this build super seriously because, you know, Dom could very well be a potential playoff opponent. It's not like we're going to try to throw the game or anything, but I don't see much point in stressing a ton over what 6 mons to bring and the best sets to bring on those 6 mons and whatnot. We're just going to pick 6 mons, go with the strategy, and hope it works for the best, and basically hope with that we don't get 6 out. So we're bringing a choice band Rillaboom, which my reservation with bringing Rillaboom to this matchup is there's a Mega Charizard Y on the other side of the field, which can hit really hard and also at the same time wall Rillaboom pretty effectively. So we're going to have to play pretty carefully around that thing. If it comes in on rocks, there's a chance that when I lower its speed with drum beating that I could possibly 2-hit KO it from like after rocks damage. We will see. Yeah, I don't know how bulky his set is going to be, but generally Charizard is not terribly bulky on the physical side, so we'll see how that goes. U-turn just to pivot out, Wood Hammer for extra damage output. Knock off, we can knock off like something like a Volibbe's Violite, which could also be a potential switch into this Rillaboom. And then we have Grassy Seed Howlucha with Bulk Up instead of Swords Dance, because there's a lot of physical attackers that I am wary about on his side, and I want to see if Bulk Up can put in the work, because I really don't feel like I need +2 in attack from Swords Dance to do the damage that I need late game. I feel like if I can get a Bulk Up, you know, I can live an extra hit or two, and like even at +1 attack, I should be able to do enough damage with Howlucha. That's how I feel. Enough speed on this to outspeed Excadrill in the sand. I don't think I should outspeed everything else. Okay, so next up is specially defensive Salamence with heavy duty boots so that we don't have to worry about switching in on rocks constantly. This is our best switch in to the Mega Charizard Y. Initially I had Habanberry on this so that I could take a Dragon Pulse from him, not worry too much about it. I actually wanted 0 IVs on this Salamence because with minimum attack, I can still OHKO a Charizard Y with Stone Edge. So Stone Edge and Flamethrower are 2 attacking moves. Flamethrower is kind of for Excadrill because this thing should be able to wall an Excadrill pretty well also if it comes in and gets the Intimidate off against it. So we can hit that thing with a Flamethrower if need be. Toxic, there's a lot of things on this team that I would love to get Toxics off against, namely the Volibbe, stuff like the Araquanid, the Gigalith. Those are all good things to have Toxic against. Yep, we'll see how well this Salamence set works out. It's the first time I've brought a defensive build of Salamence. Next up we have Stakataka. This is going to be our rocker, and kind of a funky spread because we have the plus defensive nature, and we're running Rock Blast and Iron Head instead of like Gyro Ball Stone Edge. Rock Blast is just more accurate than Stone Edge, so if I need to hit a rock type move against a Charizard Y, like with Trick Room up, then Rock Blast is like even 2 hits should be able to knock it out. And I don't have to worry about it missing as much as if I were running Stone Edge. Then we have Iron Head because Gyro Ball is doing no damage to Gigalith because it's so slow. if Gigalith runs like minimum speed, then Ironhead is doing more damage to a Gigalith than Gyro Ball is. So that's why we have Ironhead instead of Gyro Ball. And then Trick Room and Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rocks are nice because it pressures him to defog, and it takes 50% off of the Charizard Y if he wants to be switching that in. There's only so many hits that Salamence can take from a Charizard Y, especially because I opted not to run the Habanberry. So we have a Raichu here, a pretty interesting Raichu to say the least. This is a sub-Focus Punch Raichu. The idea is, if Charizard Y gets a kill, then I can come in and likely force that thing out. He actually has 3 flying types that I feel like would be forced out by Raichu. I can get a substitute up, and if he goes into either like Excadrill or Gigalith, and I'm behind a sub, then I can Focus Punch them and do a ton of damage to them. Gigalith, it should be doing about like 70%-ish Focus Punch. Excadrill should probably just clean knock it out. And then we're running Volt Tackle, because why not? A fun move to use, and Knock Off just because Raichu's physical move pool isn't quite as strong as its special move pool, I would say. So yeah, enough speed to outspeed Charizard Y. And we're running Static also to see if we can get a cheeky Static Para off against a Tornadus that might want to click U-turn or Knock Off against me. Last but not least is Porygon 2, just physically defensive with Analytic. So the Excadrill is going to have to be very careful of just attacking Porygon 2 when Porygon 2 is in front of it, because Foul Play will get boosted in power by Analytic. So if he sets up a Swords Dance, even without my Eviolite, if I'm at full health, I should be able to take an Earthquake from him, and then Foul Play absolutely destroys him. Trick Room Recover, to be honest, I don't really know why I have Trick Room on this set. We'll see if that comes back to bite me, if I would have rather had a coverage move like Ice Beam or Thunderbolt or something like that. And then Toxic, because I want Toxic on 2 Mons, because there are certain Mons on his team that I'm really worried about having to wear down. And oh yeah, another reason why I wanted Stakataka, because it's a Steel type, I can switch it in against likely things that would have Toxic, such as the Vullaby, such as the Comfey. I don't really, well, you never know, Comfey could come, who knows, because it does have priority for Hawlucha, but yeah, so I can switch this in against the Vullaby and not be afraid of getting Toxicked, whereas, yeah, I don't know how likely Toxic, well, there's only so many moves that are good to run on Vullaby, right? So Toxic seems likely. Knock Off, like, I don't want to, you're going to have to be careful of Porygon 2 getting his Violite knocked off from the likes of Vullaby, the likes of Tornadus, but yeah. That's going to be the team, and hopefully we can put up a good fight against Dom and his Cleveland Escavaliers, and we'll be right back with the battle. Here we are back with the battle. Looking at Dom's team, I feel pretty good about what I see in front of me. I'd say the 2 most notable absences on his side would be the Dragozolt and Azelf. I guess the Vullaby as well. Vullaby, I made sure I put in a little bit of prep for, just because it could be annoying with Knockoff and Toxic and stuff. But yeah, I don't know too well how, I mean, like Dracozolt, basically I would have just relied on Fizdef Porygon 2 to take on pretty much, and maybe to Raichu, and maybe Raichu to some extent as well, since it's, actually, I didn't even bring Raichu with Lightning Rod, so definitely not Raichu. Yeah, so basically just Porygon 2. Azelf, I don't know. I don't know how I would have dealt with that at all, so I'm glad not to see them. I feel that I can deal with what I see on my screen pretty well. So yeah, I feel good starting this game. And we are leading off with Sub Punch Raichu, because I saw Tornadus and I'm like, he's going to lead with Tornadus. So he does lead with Tornadus, and that is going to allow us to get a free sub up. Even if you wanted to U-turn out, we still would have been able to get our sub, and I still would have been able to get this big Focus Punch off against the Gigalith. that sets its rocks. It does not break my sub, which is super nice because I am safe behind my sub to get another big hit off. I don't really care that he set up rocks. This turn I click Volt Tackle in case he wanted to predict another Focus Punch and go out into Tornadus, and then possibly the Tornadus' U-turn might have been able to break my sub, and he could have played a little bit of mind games there. But yeah, because I didn't need like Raichu to survive like this turn. Like actually by doing that, because he lived, I burned another turn of his sand, so it was actually probably the best play possible. So he brings in the Excadrill after the Gigalith goes down. These are the only remaining turns of sand that he'll have for the entire game. I'm saving my Raichu because it is still useful against stuff like Tornadus, Araquanid, and Charizard Y. So in comes my Porygon 2, and he decides to set up a Swords Dance with the Life Orb Excadrill in front of me, going for the Iron Head flinch, and he's not going to get it, so he dies to a Foul Play. So it's 6-4 advantage right away. I feel pretty good about it. This Araquanid was not what I expected to come in. I definitely was thinking it was probably Surfetch's time to come in, or the Charizard Y. Like, I thought anything except Araquanid would come in, basically, because Araquanid's the only thing that lets me sit here and recover. And I'm actually going to be able to wear this thing down quite well with Araquanid. Right now, the game that I'm playing for right now is to set my Stakataka up in Trick Room so that I can put rocks on his side of the field. I'm very conscious of the fact that he might have Defog on the Surfetched, but if I can get rocks up to chip down the Tornadus and the Charizard Y, I get a bulk up with my... Bulk up off, I should say. Bulk up sounds weird. If I get a bulk up off with my Hawlucha, then I feel like I'm in a good spot. So Trick Room is up, and I force out the Araquanid as I go for Rock Blast to try to knock it out. It didn't really matter what I went for on that turn. It's funny, I said I was running Rock Blast so that I wouldn't miss, and I missed anyway. Not that I needed the damage against Surfetched regardless. So the Surfetched knocks me out with a crit close combat. I don't know if that crit mattered because, you know, Stakataka 4 times weak to fighting. But it did its job. It got the rocks up. And Surfetch'd then proceeded to knock out my Choice Banded Rillaboom with a Brave Bird. Did not get a crit that time. And at this point I was thinking, oh, is he actually going to be a Leek Farfetch'd or Surfetch'd that has a 50% chance to crit me? Because... if he was the Leek set with a 50% crit rate, then Hawlucha is not safe setting up in front of a Surfetch'd that has a 50-50 shot of one-shotting it with Brave Bird. So if he was that set and did get the crit right there, I don't know if I would have had a chance to win this game, quite honestly. I would have been down to 2 Mons left, Salamence and Raichu. Salamence definitely could have taken on the Charizard Y and the Araquanid from the points that they were at. Surfetch'd probably would have got a little bit more damage off against me. Maybe I could have stalled it out with like him taking Recoil and Roost and whatnot. And I don't know, maybe he kept it in on that turn, and because he was at minus defense, I might have been able to do some decent damage to it with a Flamethrower. So there's, like, I still might have been able to win, but it would have been a lot more dicey, is the point. So, luckily for me, he was not the Leek on Surfetch'd anyway. He was actually Assault Vest, so I guess that allows him to switch into Porygon 2 a lot easier. Just kind of surprises me that he didn't switch when I initially brought Porygon 2 in against the Excadrill when he had Sand Up. If he was Assault Vest Surfetch'd, I probably would have switched that in if I were him, but either way, he kept it in the back, and he still managed to pick up 2 kills with it, so I'd say it put in a decent amount of work. And we did get our bulk up off, which allowed us to survive the Brave Bird from the Surfetch'd, and at +1 attack, Acrobatics is going to be enough to kill the Tornadus. That was really the main thing I was worried about, whether or not I'd be able to kill, but thankfully it did do enough to the Tornadus. Araquanid, of course, at such low health is going to die, and the Charizard, after taking 50% from rocks, is also going to die. And we're going to pick up a 3-0 win. Hawlucha picks up 4 kills to clean up the game, and that is going to move us into second place in the league at 6-1 plus 16 differential. GG to Dom. We very good chance we could see each other again in playoffs, so looking forward to a potential rematch there. So as I said, second place. The only coach that we are behind now is Lux, who I believe is still undefeated at 7-0. Mega Latias is just absolutely destroying the league right now. So yeah, I don't think we play him in the regular season. The only we might not get a chance to play Lux until we potentially meet in the finals, given how high our seedings are both right now. So, yep, 6-1 feels good. Like that, every win just takes off a lot more stress, you know, for the rest of the season. So we got 5 games left. Next week is going to be against Zach the Weather Gamer and his Chicago Charizard X. He's got a lot of very fast threats and scary wall breakers like Mega Metacham and Tapu Koko. Ooh, yikes, that's a scary combination to deal with always. So, probably not the best matchup for us next week, so we're going to have to put a lot of work into team building to overcome that, but hopefully we can overcome it and we can get another win. So, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment down below, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all NCL and other Draft League content. We'll see you next week for Week 8.